Hello, good morning, everyone. And how are you doing today? First of all, let me apologize for being late. I had to sort some personal issues, but we are good now. So I need some confirmation. So if you can see my screen and you can hear my voice clearly, kindly type in hi in the comment section so that we can get the session started. So I want to see some confirmation in the comment section that we can all see my screen and that you can hear my voice clearly. All right. Okay. Thank you, Carrie. Good morning to you, Carrie. All right. We have RG Mina. Thank you. 960. Good morning. 606. Good morning. All right. Thank you, Carrie. Thank you very much. All right. Okay. 606. Glad to have you around. All right, so without further ado, I think we should be seeing this as a confirmation that we are good to go. So as usual, I'm so excited to welcome you to another promising session on the Extra Speed Live Hub. And my name is Sheriff Daramola. I will be your host in the next 1 hour, where we shall be embarking on a trading journey, evaluating the financial market using technical parameters to identify trading opportunities lining up for us during the New York session today. Well, today is the final day of the week. This is the last trading day of the week. It's a Friday. Thank God it's Friday, everyone. And obviously, what we do on Friday is we try as much as possible to round off on all the pairs we have been monitoring since Monday. And in fact, it has been a very profitable week for us this week, as all the major pairs we took this week moved significantly well during the course of the New York session yesterday. So we are going to be looking at those pairs, and we are going to be rounding off on the pairs so that we don't get caught up. We want to save the profit we have made so far for the week. So without further ado, let's dive into the charts and let's see what is going on in the market right now. Well, the first pair we are going to be deliberating on today is obviously the US oil as usual, and let's see what is going on in this market at this point in time. Well, if we look at the current structure we have here, so we need to start from where we started the week. Okay, so at the beginning of live session yesterday, what was our situation on this pair? So we were around here yesterday. We were around the consolidation phase, right around the $85 area and the $84.60 level, if you remember vividly. So that was where we were yesterday. And we observed that price has been caught within a consolidation phase, hereby emphasizing the indecision that has gripped the market at that particular point in time. So with that situation here, we had two options that we were looking out for going into the New York session yesterday. And the first one is a signal in the form of either a breakdown or a breakout of that structure. Remember, we had this breakdown yesterday. Before the end of yesterday's trading session, we saw the breakdown, and I told you immediately that you should lock in your profit as we might be having a spike to the upside. So price came back, taking us out of that position, and what happened afterward was quite interesting, as we saw that significant breakout of that structure, and immediately price came back to the retest of the structure. In fact, we had a couple of rejection of that level to give us that time to join the rally to the upside, and since then price broke above the $85 area to continue to give us that bullish momentum that we have been enjoying since yesterday. And what we had here, the prime market also gave us another opportunity to add more position to our existing trade, as we saw the breakout of the very important $86 level, and price came back to do the retest of structure. Then another position was triggered at this point. So presently we should be having about 2 positions running at this point in time. And what do we have here? How many pips do we have here? So the first position is running with over 270 pips, and the second position right now is running with about, let's see how many pips, over 170 pips in profit, making a total of over 3, roughly 400 pips thereabout. So the next thing we want to be doing here is to lock in some profit. We want to move our stop loss accordingly so that we can position ourselves very well in such a way that if there is any sudden pullback that might happen here, we are going to be getting out of this trade in a profitable position. So what we want to be doing here is to move our stop loss to somewhere around the $86.95 level, which has a structure around here. So I will be suggesting that somewhere below this level seems most appropriate to lock in some profits, and let's see how price action is going to play out. Now, going into the New York session today, what is going to be our plans? What are we going to be looking out for at this point? Are we still going to have situations where price might give us another opportunity to add more position to this trade? Or for those who missed out on both of these chances that we had yesterday, are we going to be having a situation where market might be presenting another opportunity to add more position or join this new position outrightly? So the next thing we want to do right now is to scale up to the daily time frame. Let's see what is going on from an holistic perspective, and let's see if the most bullish momentum we took advantage of yesterday is going to take further right to the upside, or we might be having a retest of this bearish trend line. Remember, we had the breakdown of the structure a couple of days ago, and there is a likelihood that price might come back to do the retest of that bearish trend line to send price crashing to the downside. So we don't know how that is going to play out. So let's scale up to the daily time frame. Let's look at what is happening around here, and then we shall be using whatever information coupled with what we have on the 1 hour time frame to make an informed decision therein. So scaling up to the daily time frame quickly, let's look at what is happening on the daily time frame. All right, I think I have a lag in my internet connection, so let's hold on a second for this to load up. All right, so I'll hold on a little bit. So while I do that, let me check what is happening in the comment section. All right, okay, now here we are. So we have a situation. Let's go to the daily time frame as we have said on the US oil. And so this is what we have on the daily time frame. Obviously, we understand the fact that price has been on a bullish momentum in the last 2 years. Remember, we identified that bullish trend line, which has been holding bullish pressure after we connected the higher lows here to give us that line. And in the last 2 years, price has consistently respected that level to further emphasize the strength of the buyers at this point. Now, remember, we had this $86 level figured out at the beginning of the week. In fact, a couple of weeks ago, in fact, a couple of months ago, we have been using that $86 level as our yardstick, as this is a level that has been a major determinant of price action. And if we look at what has been happening around the $86 area, we can see how that level at one point in time in the month of August, it was holding buying pressure at one point. Then we saw a situation in the month of September where price broke down that structure to send a signal of a bearish momentum. And throughout the month of September, price had continued to trade right below the $86 area, emphasizing the strength of the sellers at that point. However, a month ago thereabout, we saw the significant breakout of the structure to signal a bullish momentum. And this is a reflection of the OPEC Plus decision to cut oil production. And we saw the reflection on the chart with that boom in price action as price jumped up into the $93.50 level. Then we saw a retracement back into the $82 area, where we started seeing a consolidation phase area. Remember, we had a dilemma here where there was an indecision in this market. We were actually waiting for the continuation pattern in the form of the breakout of the $86 area, which finally happened during the later part of the month of October. We saw the retest of structure, and we have been enjoying this bullish momentum right back into the $93.50 level. And one interesting thing that we should take into consideration here on the daily time frame is the $93.50 level. We can see how this level has been holding selling pressure since the beginning of the month of October. The same thing happened this week. We saw selling pressure around that area, and we were fortunate enough to be part of the sell momentum as we took price right back to the downside here. And we said we want to be seeing how price is going to be relating to the current structure around the $86 area to make a decision on the next move we are going to be making on the US oil. And during the course of the trading session yesterday, we saw multiple rejection around the $86 area to emphasize that the buyers are actually coming in at this point in time. So we positioned ourselves in such a way that if we sight a breakout of the $86 area, we want to be joining the rally to the upside. So that's how we got about the idea of buying the US oil. So we had two scenarios as at yesterday. We were looking for reversal pattern here to join the rally to the upside, which happened, and that is what we are going to be focusing on today. So as of today now, we have an engulfing candle already, but we can't conclude that this is an engulfing candle yet, as this day is still about we still have about 11 hours left for this day to close. So we still have an engulfing candle running at this point in time. So let's see if the market is going to be presenting us with another opportunity to add more position to this trade as we continue to enjoy the bullish run that we took advantage of yesterday. So let's see what is happening here. Are we going to be having a trend continuation pattern to join the rally to the upside? So let's see what is happening around this point. And mind you, our take profit target is going to be above the $93.50. I will be suggesting somewhere around the $100 mark, which is a very strong psychological level. That is where I will be putting my take profit target in a long-term perspective. And as soon as price gets into the $93.50 level, what we want to be doing is to move our stop loss accordingly to protect the position, as we don't know what price action will be doing around the $93.50 area. So if we have a situation where reversal pattern happens, that is, we start having selling pressure below this level, then I want to be taking advantage of a selling momentum to the downside. And if we have a breakout of that structure, then that is a bullish signal that we might be going bullish on this one, and a retest of structure will be giving us another opportunity to add more position to our existing trade. So with that being said, here on the daily time frame, let's scale down to the lower time frame and let's see if we can still have another opportunity to add more position to whatever position we have running at this point. So scaling back down to the 1 hour time frame, what do we have here? So on the 1 hour time frame, this is the structure we have now. In fact, we have a huge gap right now, emphasizing the strength of the buyers at this point. You can see where the candle closed. The last hour candle closed around the $87.50 area, and what we saw now in the next candle here, we saw a huge gap here. And for me, this is a good sign that the buyers are still very, very strong in this market right now. So what we are going to be doing now is to understand what is really going on here. Let us see what the structure here is going to be giving us on, let's say, the 15 minutes time frame, for instance, to see how we can take probably add more position to our existing trade. Mind you, for those who are already in this trade, we have moved our stop loss accordingly to protect our position so that we don't get caught up in any sudden pullback that might happen at this point. Now we already have a breakout of that trend line. Remember, we had this trend line figured out at the beginning of the week. Remember, we had this trend line. Let me zoom out a little bit so that we can see what I'm talking about here clearly. So we have this bullish trend line figured out here. We can see how after connecting the series of higher lows here, price has consistently respected that bullish trend line. Though we had a little breakout of that structure during the course of this week, and there is a likelihood that price might come back to do a retest of the structure to send price going to the downside. That's from a technical standpoint. When we sight a breakdown of a structure, we might be looking forward to a retest of structure followed by selling pressure here to send price crashing to the downside. But if price breaks out of that structure, then that is a good sign that a bullish momentum is valid here. Then the retest of structure might be giving us further confirmation to add more position to our existing trade. So now that we have this information, let's scale down to the 15 minutes time frame. Let's see what is happening there. If it's possible for us to identify a structure that we can be using to guide our trading activity for the New York session today. Well, bring out our line chart so that we can have a specific point of connection, and we have a support level right here at the $87.56 area. So let's label this point for the sake of clarity. So we have $87.56. okay, so we have that mapped out. Then we also have another structure right above here had the $88.25. So let's map that out also. $88.25. All right, let's place this at the top right hand side of the screen. Then we go back to our candle chart and let's see what is going on here. So we had a consolidation phase here, which is more like a trend continuation pattern in the form of a bullish rectangular pattern. So we had this impulsive move that went here. Price was caught within this consolidation phase around here, and what we should be waiting for is a signal which is definitely going to be coming in the form of a breakout of the resistance point at the $88.25. Now we have already seen the breakout of that structure, which we missed anyway because of this what I will call a bullish gap, because we can see we have a huge gap here, emphasizing how strong the demand for the US oil is increasing at this point. So a breakout of that structure is more or less a sign that price is going to continue to the upside at this point. So what I'll be advising us to do here is to for those who are already in this trade, move your stop loss to somewhere around the $87. Below the $87.50 area is good to move your stop loss right now, since we already have a breakout of the $88.25. So what we are going to be looking out for during the New York session is a situation where price might likely come back into that structure, followed by buying pressure on lower time frame. Then we could actually add more position to our existing trade. And for those who are not yet in this trade, this is another opportunity for us to join that rally to the upside. If we have price come back into the channel on the form of a retest of structure, look out for buying pressure on lower time frame, then we could join the rally to the upside. So remember, I told you our take profit targets still remain around the $100 mark, a very strong psychological level we want to be looking at this point, as we can see how strong the buyers are in the market at this point. So like I said, move your take profit target to around the $100 mark, which I will be extending accordingly here. And one thing I will be telling you here, I told you, is that as soon as price gets into, hold on a second, I showed you something on the daily time frame here, that if price gets into the $93 area, we want to lock in more profit here. Hold on a second, let me show you. So while we go up into the daily time frame, hold on a second, please. All right, okay. So while we keep on monitoring price action, I said if price comes into the $93.50 area, we want to see how price action is going to relate to that level. So what we want to do is to move our stop loss to somewhere around the $91.50 area. Let's see how price action is going to relate to the current structure around the $93.50 area, which has a memory for selling power. So if we now finally have a breakout of that structure, then a retest again will welcome additional position to our existing trade. So that is our view here on the US oil. If you have any questions whatsoever regarding what I've just discussed so far, feel free to drop in your inquiries in the comment section. Okay, Innocent Babe, yes, that's true. I guess it's the network. Is it okay now? Let me know if it's fine now, please. Are you finding the transmission better now? Can I see some comments in the rows that everything is working fine? All right. Okay, 256, good morning. Innocent Babe, I want to hear something from you if it's okay now. All right, okay, thank you very much for that confirmation. So we are good to go. So that is what we are going to be looking forward to on the US oil. So we continue to look for buying opportunity on the US oil. Now, moving on to the next pair, since there is no questions whatsoever, is the EURUSD. In fact, I missed out on this bullish move on the EURUSD yesterday. I hope we took advantage of this move. Where are we as at yesterday? So we were around this point yesterday when we started, we joined this bearish momentum right below the $1 area. Remember, we took advantage of this bearish momentum as price climbed down, plunged down into the 0.99500 level, and our expectation, I told you definitely that we should have moved our stop loss accordingly. I actually advised us to move our stop loss to somewhere around the 0.99840 level, and I hope you did so to protect your position against any sudden pullback. And what we're actually looking forward to is price coming back into either the buy zone here, somewhere around here, or the 0.99050 level, which also shares a confluence with that bullish trend line, remember, and we said we will be looking out for buying pressure around this area to join that rally to the upside. But that did not happen, as we saw. Hold on a second. So as we saw, an engulfing candle that took price right out of that structure, and it was as a result of the CPI that came out yesterday on the economic calendar. It was not a good news for the dollar, and we saw how the euro rose significantly well against the dollar to push price right above the 1.0100 level, which was holding selling pressure at the beginning of the week. So at this point in time, we have that situation going right now as bullish momentum has taken over the market at this point. So for those who took advantage of this move right here to the upsides, in fact, congratulations to you guys for taking advantage of that move. I missed it and I kept on monitoring the price action to see if the market is going to be giving us another chance to add position or probably join afresh, but that did not happen until the early hours of today. And when I opened my chart this morning, this is what structure I was able to identify here. And one thing we notice, following this bullish engulfing candle that took price right into, hold on a second, let me show you. So this bullish trend line took price right into the 1.02100 level, and as soon as price tested the 1.02100 level, what did we see here? We started seeing selling pressure, and what followed was more or less like a consolidation phase, emphasizing the indecision that is happening at in the market at that particular point in time. So we saw price fall in such a way that we had this kind of scenario. So what I did here is to identify that structure around the 1.02100 level. So I used that as my resistance point, and then I drew this trend line here to connect this low. So what I was looking for in the beginning of this morning was that I look out for breakouts of the structure to give me a signal. So the first thing the mind will go towards is that, okay, fine, since we've been having selling pressure here, we might likely see a breakdown of this trend line, retest of structure to send price back to do a correction of that impulsive move that started last week to anticipate a trend continuation to the upside. But that did not happen, as we saw a breakout of the 1.02100 level during the early hours of today. In fact, we had the retest immediately on the second candle, and boom, price has continued to the upside. So we took advantage of this move. And if you are part of me that took advantage of this move right here, well done. And if you have two positions running, well done more. So what I'll be advising us to do right now is to move our stop loss accordingly to protect our position against any sudden pullback that might likely happen. And you know that from a technical standpoint, whenever we have an impulsive move like this, at one point in time, price is likely going to come back, do a retracement of that impulsive move, which will be a reflection of profit taking in the market. Those who took advantage of this move right from this area will definitely at one point in time want to do some profit taking, and when profit taking activities happen, what we see on the chart is a retracement of that impulsive move, and that might likely come into our golden zone area, which is around the 50 and the 78.6% of the previous impulse leg before another move happen. So that is why I'll be suggesting us to move our stop loss accordingly. For me personally, since I joined around this area, I'll just move my stop loss to break even somewhere right above the 1.02100 is good for me to lock in my profit there, and let's see if price might go through a retracement phase, or we might be having a trend continuation to the upside. So these are the scenarios I'm looking forward to. Now, for those who are not part of this trade, let's see if we are going to be, it's going to be possible for us to enjoy this trend continuation to the upside. So now we have this trend line now. So I have two structures that will be guiding our trading activities for any buying momentum here on the Euro USD during the New York session today. So the first one is this. I want to see price come back into the bullish trend line or the 1.02100 level to do a retest of structure. You know, when we have a breakout of a structure like this, we expect that at a point in time, price might likely come back to do a retest of that structure. So if that happens, then we want to be getting ready to join that rally. But we are not going to be joining unless we start seeing buying pressure around this area on our lower time frame. Then we could join at a breakout retest of structure on our 5 minutes, 1 minute, 3 minutes time frame, whichever it is that is convenient for you to join the trend continuation. So we could either see a retest of the 1.02100 level, or probably a retest of that bullish trend line, after which buying pressure around this area could give us an opportunity to join the trend continuation to the upside. So that is one scenario we are going to be looking forward to. For buying opportunity. Now, the second scenario is this. Let me bring up my line chart so that I can figure this out. So we have a structure here, which we've been witnessing some rejection of that level in the last 1 hour. So we have it right around this 1.02750. So let's label that area 2750. Okay, so we have that going. So we have a structure around here. Let's bring out our candle chart. So we can see in the last 2-3 hours now, we have been witnessing this selling pressure around that area. So if at any point in time we see a breakout of the structure, then that's another bullish signal that we want to be joining a trend continuation. So we don't get too excited when we sight a breakout. Remember, we want to wait for price action to give us further confirmation in the form of a retest of that level. Then we look out for buying pressure on lower time frame. Then we could join the rally to the upside. So that is how we are going to be looking at the Euro USD for all the buying opportunities here. However, if price breaks down that bullish trend line at one point in time, well, I want to be seeing this as a retracement of that impulsive move that started yesterday. So we had the impulse leg here. So if price breaks down that bearish trend line, which also lines up with the 1.02100 level, well, a retest of structure should be giving us a leverage to join that decline. But for me, I wouldn't be selling, but wait for price action to come into my golden zone area, which is likely going to be around the 1.0100 level, which also shares a confluence with the breakout of the structure yesterday to join the trend continuation to the upside. So this is what I will be looking forward to on the Euro USD. If you have any questions regarding what I've just discussed here, feel free to drop in your inquiries in the comment section of this video. All right, so let's take the next 10-15 seconds to read through the chat and see if there are any questions whatsoever before we move on to the next pair. All right, okay, so we have 118. Good morning. All right, okay, greetings to everyone. Greetings to Raima. Good day, everyone. Okay, I see Innocent Babe saying the network is not too good. All right. Okay. Okay, let me quickly do something here. It will take, we might go out of transmission for a couple of seconds. Let me do some reset on my router. So we're going to hold on for like a couple of seconds for the router to pick up reception, then we continue. So I'm sorry for the transmission. Sorry for the break in transmission. Let's hold on a second. All right, I'm back on now. I hope things will get better as we move on. I hope things will get better now as we move on. All right. We are still connected, but I'm not sure why TradingView chat is not loading up at this point in time. Probably that's a technical issue from TradingView. So let's use our extreme speed, our extreme oh, I'm so sorry. I guess we will just have to call it a day here. I look forward to seeing you guys on Monday. It's unfortunate. All right. I hope with a couple of pairs we were able to trade today, we should be looking forward to take advantage of any opportunity that will be lining up on this pair. So we were able to trade the US Tech, the Euro USD, and the US Oil. And let's see how things plays out. I wish you best of luck today. Do not get too excited at the sight of a breakout retest of structure. Breakout of structure, we want to wait for price action to give us further confirmation in the form of a retest of structure before we want to be joining any potential rally or decline as the case may be. Well, I look forward to seeing you on Monday as usual, 10 a.m. UTC, 11 a.m. West African time. Let's come here together and let's get ourselves prepared for the new week. So this week has been profitable for us, and let's hope that next week will be much more better. Thank you very much, and I hope to see you on Monday. Have a wonderful weekend. I'm sorry once again. Bye bye.